Wasn't there some speculation that she was on Epstein's yacht at one point in time? There was like photos with her and Prince Andrew way back in the day when she was like in her early 20s. That's why a lot of these celebrities that start these things, they can't keep up. You know, like the Meghan Markle.
All the ongoing fallout, whether it's about Harry and Meghan, whether it's about Prince Andrew, or the artist formerly known as Prince Andrew, and his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Please subscribe. It costs you nothing, but it truly means so much to me. Wasn't there some speculation that she was on Epstein's yacht at one point in time? Those words hung in the air like a bomb about to detonate when Joe Rogan said them. Something shifted. The room got quieter. The internet exploded. And somewhere, allegedly, lawyers started making emergency phone calls. January 2026 was supposed to be a fresh start. Meghan Markle had weathered storms before. Tabloid attacks, family feuds, public scrutiny. She believed the whispers were finally fading. The yacht rumors, the alleged elite connections, buried under years of careful PR moves and strategic silence. She thought she made it through clean. Then Joe Rogan opened his mouth, and the carefully built narrative started shaking. What followed wasn't just shocking, it felt dangerous. Because when one of the biggest podcasters in the world starts asking questions most media outlets avoid, about yachts, elite circles, and ties to controversial royal figures, the story doesn't stay quiet. There's no putting that genie back in the bottle. And here's what makes this explosive. Joe Rogan doesn't bend for Hollywood. He doesn't bend for royalty. He doesn't bend for billion-dollar PR machines. When something feels off, he pulls at it. Hard. So what exactly did he see? Why did Meghan's team reportedly go into high alert? And what do these alleged yacht photos even show? Let's be clear. When Joe Rogan talks, people react. This isn't cable news with a small audience. This isn't a gossip column. Rogan reaches millions across platforms. When he brings something up, it spreads fast. And what makes him difficult for public figures? He doesn't soften his tone for titles, duchess or celebrity. It doesn't matter. If he has a question, he says it, loud. This isn't the first time he's criticized Meghan. In 2020, he mocked the way Prince Harry's life seemed to be shifting into a celebrity-driven brand. In 2023, when she spoke about feeling objectified during her time on Deal or No Deal, Rogan responded with blunt sarcasm. So when reports surfaced that he was now revisiting alleged yacht rumors and drawing links to elite social circles connected to Prince Andrew, alarms reportedly went off. Because here's the reality. You can pressure tabloids, you can manage traditional press, but independent voices with massive platforms? That's harder. The yacht rumors aren't new. They've existed online for years, so have questions about elite connections. But they were background noise. Now they're louder, and that changes everything. So what changed? What changed is that no one with Joe Rogan's reach had ever said it out loud before. Not like this. Now let's talk about a name you need to know. Kirby Sommers. She's an author who has spent years researching elite social networks, including writing an unauthorized biography connected to Ghislaine Maxwell. Yes, that Ghislaine Maxwell. During her research, Sommers claims she uncovered something explosive, alleged links suggesting Meghan may have crossed paths with Prince Andrew long before she ever met Prince Harry. We're talking early 2000s. 2 decades ago. According to Sommers, there may be photographs from that era showing Meghan on a yacht in Phuket, Thailand, at the same time Prince Andrew was reportedly there. Pause for a second. A young Meghan Markle, not yet famous, not yet royal. On a yacht in Thailand during the same period, Prince Andrew was moving in controversial elite circles. And here's the part that raises eyebrows. Sommers claims these images exist, but were never published by major outlets. Why? That's the question Rogan keeps pushing. If photos like that were real, why wouldn't they be released? Who benefits from silence? What kind of pressure would keep something like that under wraps? Before going further, there's another name that keeps coming up. Marcus Anderson. Anderson is the global membership director for Soho House, not just a social club. Soho House is known as a private networking hub for high-profile figures. Private rooms, private events, private introductions. Discretion is the brand. Please subscribe, it costs you nothing, but it truly means so much to me. And Marcus Anderson's role, making connections. He's also widely reported as the person who introduced Meghan to Prince Harry. That part isn't disputed, but Rogan keeps asking the follow-up question others avoid. How did Anderson decide she was the right introduction for a prince? Anderson has been with Soho House since 2001. That's decades inside elite social spaces, decades of facilitating introductions between ambitious and powerful people. According to Sommers' research Rogan has discussed, there were overlapping social networks involving figures connected to the Maxwell and Epstein era. That doesn't prove wrongdoing, but it raises questions about proximity and access. Rogan frames it as high-level networking, strategic positioning, and he's repeated that idea to a massive audience. Now let's circle back to Thailand. Sommers claims mainstream outlets may already have alleged photographs dated to 2001, showing Meghan in Phuket during the same time Prince Andrew was reportedly present. Before Suits, before global fame, before royalty. Now some viral images that circulated online were already debunked, proven to show model Alexandra Issa, not Meghan. Fact checkers addressed that correctly. But Rogan emphasizes a different claim. Summers isn't referring to random internet photos. She's alleging that certain images, if they exist, are supposedly held privately by major media organizations and not being published. That's the distinction he keeps highlighting, and that's why the conversation isn't fading. Think about the implications if these photos exist and show Meghan and Andrew together during the Epstein-era timeline. This wouldn't just be an awkward headline. It would drag her name into one of the darkest scandals tied to the modern royal family. So why the silence? Joe has his own theories, and they aren't comforting. Legal threats, fear of lawsuits, palace pressure, defamation risks. When powerful names are involved, stories can stall fast. Too many interests, too much at stake. But here's where Joe Rogan becomes a problem for that system. He doesn't play by those rules. He keeps asking why no serious investigation happened, why no one demands clarity, why these alleged photos, if they exist, remain untouchable. And then there's another documented piece Rogan keeps mentioning. In 2016, Meghan reportedly received an invitation to Yacht Week in Croatia. For anyone unfamiliar, this isn't just a relaxing sailing trip. GQ once described it as Sodom and Gomorrah at sea. Past attendees even called it Tinder at sea, a non-stop party atmosphere where wealthy men and attractive women mingled under certain unspoken expectations. Did Meghan attend? There's no confirmed proof, but the invitation reportedly existed, the access existed, and that's what Rogan keeps pointing out. He's not stating facts, he's asking why certain dots appear to line up. And when millions hear those questions, narratives start to feel less stable. Now here's why Rogan's involvement changes everything. When tabloids bring up yacht rumors, most people dismiss it as gossip. When anonymous accounts post theories, they're brushed aside. But when one of the largest podcast hosts in the world breaks it down to an audience of millions, it lands differently. Rogan has survived platform backlash. He pushed through public criticism. Attempts to sideline him only seem to make him bigger, and that independence makes him hard to pressure. So when he asks, "What's this about Meghan and yachts?" or questions links between Marcus Anderson and elite social circles, people pause. They listen. They start asking their own questions. And his core question cuts deep. Why hasn't mainstream media investigated this thoroughly? Once millions start repeating that question, polished narratives don't hold as steady. You can't manage an independent voice the same way you manage tabloids. You can't limit his access. You can't steer the framing. Reports suggest Meghan's team reacted strongly, not because Rogan made direct accusations, but because he raised questions they couldn't control. Imagine it from her perspective. Years spent shaping a public image, strategic interviews, high-level PR, careful messaging. And then a podcast host in Austin, Texas starts bringing up uncomfortable topics, elite social circles, yacht invitations, controversial royal connections. He's not accusing, he's questioning, and questions can be powerful. Ignoring him doesn't make it disappear. His reach is too massive for silence to work. You can't just wait it out. And Joe knows that. That's why he keeps circling back. Different episodes, different guests, different angles. He won't let it fade, because as long as he keeps asking, millions keep listening, and they start wanting answers. Now let's zoom in on Marcus Anderson, because this is where Rogan's focus gets intense. Who is Marcus Anderson? On paper, he's the global membership director for Soho House. But look closer, and he's more than that. He's a connector, a facilitator, a man whose career revolves around introducing the right people to each other at the right moment. And in 2016, he made the introduction that changed everything. Meghan Markle to Prince Harry. That part is widely reported, no controversy there. But Rogan's follow-up questions are what make people uncomfortable. How does a membership director at a private club feel confident introducing a television actress to a senior royal? What kind of relationship existed before that introduction? What made him sure it would work? Those aren't accusations, they're questions. And nobody seems eager to answer them. Anderson joined Soho House in 2001. For over 2 decades, he's operated inside some of the most exclusive rooms in the world. Soho House isn't just a club. It's a private networking hub built on discretion. No photos, no recordings, no public access. Privacy is the product. And Anderson's role inside that world? Creating links, opening doors, pairing ambition with influence. Now here's where it gets complicated. Some researchers, including Kirby Summers, have suggested that Anderson's networking may have connected Meghan to high-level figures long before Harry entered the picture, including, allegedly, Prince Andrew through overlapping elite social spaces. That doesn't confirm anything, but it reshapes the narrative. If introductions were happening years earlier within elite circles, then the meeting with Harry starts looking less random, and more like the result of proximity and networking at a high level. That's how Rogan frames it. Strategic connections, long game positioning. And he's repeated that theme consistently. He's also pointed to Soho House's broader connections. Wealthy investors, high-profile members. Public questions about social overlaps within elite circles over the years. When Rogan starts layering those pieces together, Soho House, Anderson's role, Meghan's access, elite networking, it creates a picture that makes people curious. Because once attention turns to what happens inside private rooms, the secrecy itself becomes the story. Soho House can't deny they facilitate introductions. That's their business model. But they also guard privacy fiercely. And when someone with a massive platform starts asking what those introductions really looked like, it creates tension. Rogan's approach is strategic. He's not declaring facts, he's not making formal accusations, he's asking pointed questions. And according to reports, that's what's frustrating Meghan's team the most. Not statements, but questions they can't easily shut down. Because when the questions keep coming, the conversation doesn't die. And Joe isn't done asking. Question 1. Why was Meghan invited to Yacht Week 2016 in Croatia if she wasn't part of those social circles? The invitation itself has been reported. But how does a cable TV actress end up on the guest list for an event GQ once described as Sodom and Gomorrah at sea? Question 2. Why did Marcus Anderson have such close access to Meghan's personal and professional life? What was the real nature of that relationship? And what gave him the confidence to introduce her to Prince Harry? Question 3. How was she funding the high-end lifestyle people saw at the time? Yes, she earned money from suits, but she was attending ultra-exclusive events, traveling internationally, and moving in elite spaces that often require more than just a steady television paycheck. Question 4. How was she entering rooms filled with billionaires and power players? Who opened those doors? Question 5. What was her connection, if any, to Ron Burkle, the billionaire and prominent Soho House member who has faced public scrutiny over past social overlaps in elite circles? And the biggest question Rogan keeps repeating, did Meghan know Prince Andrew before she met Harry? Now here's what makes these questions land hard. Rogan frames them as inquiries, not accusations. He points to documented invitations, photographed appearances at exclusive venues, and known introductions. Then he says, in essence, explain the timeline. He has made clear he isn't declaring anything as fact. He lays out the connections, the access, the sequence of events, and lets his audience think it through. That strategy is pivotal because when people feel like they're reaching their own conclusions, they hold on to them tighter. Here's the dilemma. If Meghan stays silent, critics say it looks suspicious. If she responds, the discussion grows louder. Either way, the topic keeps circulating. Rogan understands that dynamic. That's why he revisits it. Different framing, same core questions, and the longer there's no direct clarification, the more curiosity builds. Now shift the lens to Prince Harry. Rogan has publicly criticized him before. He's questioned the relationship narrative. Suggested ambition may have played a role. If these yacht-related questions were ever to gain broader traction, Harry's image could take a hit. Instead of a prince who found love, critics might frame him as someone unaware of deeper social dynamics around him. Imagine being in that position, hearing millions debate whether your relationship began as romance or strategic networking. Imagine watching commentators question whether the meeting at Soho House was coincidence or careful connection building. That's the scenario Rogan keeps presenting. Whether people believe it or not, the impact comes from repetition. Once questions circulate at scale, they linger. They shape perception. And that's the real force behind it. Not definitive claims, but persistent doubt spreading across a massive audience. It's brutal, it's relentless, and from the outside, it looks like Harry has no clean way to shut it down. He can't magically produce proof about who crossed paths with who 20 years ago. He can't easily untangle every old social introduction. And he definitely can't rewrite the internet. Reports claim he's already frustrated by the constant yacht chatter and the way it keeps resurfacing. Some critics say he may now be questioning what parts of Meghan's early social life were fully transparent. Others speculate whether senior royals had concerns from the start. It's long been reported that members of the royal family advised caution before the wedding. Harry, by most accounts, saw that as unfair judgment and stood firm. But now Rogan's narrative adds a new twist. What if those early concerns were about social circles? What if palace hesitation wasn't about personality, but proximity? That's the angle being floated. And the more it's repeated, the more it reshapes perception. Suddenly the story shifts, and instead of Prince chooses love over institution, critics reframe it as ambitious networking meets opportunity. That's a dramatic rewrite. And once a reframed version spreads to millions of listeners, it sticks in people's minds whether it's proven or not. Now let's talk about Soho House, because Rogan's spotlight there isn't random. Mainstream outlets often describe Soho House as a trendy private members club for creatives. But Rogan pushes a different emphasis. Exclusivity, privacy, elite access. No photos, no recordings, strict confidentiality. Discretion is the appeal. And that secrecy naturally fuels curiosity. Soho House has hosted powerful figures across entertainment, business, and politics. That's not a scandal. That's its brand. But when critics start pointing to wealthy members who have faced past scrutiny in unrelated controversies, the conversation shifts. Take Ron Burkle, a billionaire investor and longtime member. He has faced public questions over social overlaps in elite circles in the past. Being photographed at high-profile events doesn't prove wrongdoing. But when Rogan layers names, locations, and timelines together, it creates intrigue. And intrigue spreads fast. Here's the tension. Soho House openly facilitates connections. That's the model. They introduce creatives, investors, entrepreneurs, but because privacy is central to their identity, they don't publicly dissect how introductions happen. So when Rogan asks what kind of networking occurred behind closed doors, who met whom, how relationships formed, the organization is unlikely to engage publicly, and silence in today's climate often fuels speculation instead of calming it. The official story remains simple. Meghan and Harry met through mutual connections at Soho House, a modern love story. Rogan's alternative framing, that it may have been strategic networking rather than random fate. That's a powerful contrast. And once that contrast circulates to a massive audience, the romantic narrative competes with a more calculated one. Now here's the harsh reality Meghan faces. Yacht-related rumors lived on the edges of the internet for years. Easy to dismiss, easy to label as fringe talk. But when someone with a massive audience revisits them as questions, not accusations, it elevates the conversation. And that puts her in a tight spot. If she responds directly, it amplifies the issue. If she ignores it, critics interpret silence as avoidance. It's a communication trap, not because of proven facts, but because of persistent framing. And in the age of podcasts and viral clips, framing can be just as powerful as evidence. Mainstream outlets brushed the rumors off as gossip and moved on. Royal watchers whispered, but it never broke through. Then Joe Rogan stepped in, and everything scaled up fast. Now those same theories are being discussed in front of millions, not buried in forums, not hidden in comment sections, broadcast on one of the biggest podcast platforms in the world. That shift alone changes the temperature. And here's why this puts Meghan in a tight spot. Her usual strategy doesn't translate here. Tabloids can be challenged in court. Traditional press can be managed through statements and access. PR teams can shape headlines. But Rogan operates independently in the US with a massive audience and strong platform backing. Any aggressive move against him would likely amplify the story instead of quieting it. So what's the move? Reports suggest the strategy is silence. Let the cycle pass, wait for the next headline. But the risk is obvious. If one side keeps asking questions publicly while the other stays quiet, perception starts forming on its own. And perception spreads quickly. Look at the power dynamic. Meghan has professional PR, legal teams, and media relationships. Rogan has a direct line to millions who value his unscripted style. She releases polished statements. He hosts long, free-flowing conversations. Two completely different communication models. Then there's the double standard argument Rogan raises. He asks why similar rumors about other public figures would spark non-stop investigations, yet this topic feels sensitive or off-limits. Whether people agree or not, that framing resonates with part of his audience. It shifts the focus from "are the rumors true?" to "why can't we even question this?" That's a powerful pivot, because once people feel questions are being avoided, curiosity grows. Rogan isn't presenting final answers. He's emphasizing inquiry. And inquiry, repeated often enough, creates momentum. Now the conversation has expanded. Yacht invitations, elite networking, Marcus Anderson's role, Prince Andrew's name being mentioned in the same timeline. Each element on its own may be explainable, but layered together, they spark debate. Here's the reality about reputation in the digital age. It doesn't always hinge on proof. It hinges on repetition, on framing, on who controls the microphone. Rogan isn't making definitive declarations. He's asking why certain timelines and connections haven't been fully clarified. And once millions hear those questions, they don't just disappear. At this stage, the debate isn't only about the past. It's about whether Meghan can withstand sustained public questioning on a platform this large. Silence can be strategic. It can also be interpreted in multiple ways. That's the tension. So what do you think? Are these fair questions that deserve clear answers? Or is this an example of speculation gaining oxygen because of a powerful platform? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives into stories that spark real debate, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned.